Hi all, welcome to episode number 2 of the Road to Top 100. Mixed bag from the first episode, quite a decent amount of likes, quite a few dislikes as well, but I think there was a few folk just using multiple accounts by the looks of it because there was periods where it shot, but regardless, so I've had a lot of fun so far doing this, so hopefully you've been enjoying it as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you've been doing this yourself. So smash like as always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter, G's a Legend, all links down below for posting the channel and social media links as always. So market will be a bit of an interesting one this time around. Hopefully pays off in our favour, but mainly focusing on the transfer cards. So mostly the newer ones that kind of came in after like deadline day, they're the kind of main focus. So guys like Dione, Pantelimon, who are now in the championship, which helps the championship SBCs a fair amount, so be aware of that as well if you want to do them. And then it's a case of guys like Ruiz, he's transferred from Sporting Lisbon over to Cologne, I'm sure the team is. They're coming up in the MMs fairly soon. I had them marked up, and you've got guys like Sandin that most of them are like 350 spends. It's try to buy the older ones as well. You can get quite a few of them for like the 300 or 350 for some of these clubs. It's just a case of being patient, but also just getting them. It's harder said than done. But we want to try and buy like the original card that was of that club and also the new card ideally. So flying through, getting ourselves like Agra, who's now transferred from the Liga NOS over to Granada. Now his card's now no longer useful for because our Liga 123 does not have a Liga SBC, but the new his old card does. So be wary if you have that card. I would probably try and keep a few of them in your club if you've got them. Mass of course has went from the Turkish League to Boca Juniors, so he will have maybe MM's use, but not so much the League SBC use. Will be wary. Besic is handy for Middlesbrough. He pretty much slots in. You can get him for like, you can sell him for 400, 450, but he doesn't really have much use. The Everton version is the one you really want if you can nab it. But as you can see, we're just flying through, getting more deals kind of done and dusted. So what I'm finding is just working through a league at a time of the like A to Z, as it were, if you want to call it, the leagues, targeting every like relatively new transfer, but also just focusing on players in general within certain leagues. So like obviously with the Alka Super League, Victor Fischer's recently joined. Then you go through like say the second Bundesliga, pretty much any league that just kind of sees fit to make the it's not really just the League SBC, obviously the non-League SBC cards, it's cards that would kind of slot into marquee matchups, but also kind of like your normal SBCs that you would crop up for like advanced or whatever. They're the ones that you just kind of want to say, right, if we get these kind of cards, even cards that have could have marquee matchup type, they're the kind of ones you just want to say, right, we'll nab them, slot them in, and we're kind of sorted. And you find that's the case with cards like Cicciaretti, who's recently transferred from Parma. He was at Benevento, so I would probably, if you've got Cicciaretti's Benevento card for example, that card could go for a few coins, only because obviously Benevento is like one of the lowest rated teams in the league, and also it just kind of, you need kind of something to kind of bulk it up as it were for ratings, and also it just covers a central position which you can just kind of position change accordingly. But it does take a bit of time with some of this to kind of just say, right, sit down. And what I've done is, for this series, is I've prepared together a spreadsheet of all the leagues from the A to Z basically, and I've relied on seeing what's strongest for Footbin. Like on Footbin I've seen like how many players there is for each kind of like league, so that when I go through every kind of league I can roughly say, right, well, how many players have I roughly bought for each respective league. And I'm noticing with a lot of these leagues, if there's maybe say 500 players, I might only end up buying say 400, because the other 100 some of them can be extinct, some can be you never find. But also as well, for some of the leagues, if there's say 100, like could be 100 bronze, or say 50 bronze, 50 silvers, and 50 gold, say there's like 500 or 600 that you've only got 400, then you've got quite a bit of a short haul. If you're practically at least 150 cards short. But for what I'm finding with a lot of these leagues just now is the market is there to kind of just mop up not just the new transfers, but a lot of these cards in general, which is kind of absolutely crazy, where it be targeting, doesn't matter what league it seems to be just now, it's the cards are there to just be mopped up, and if there's particular players I'm after, I know I can just quickly search them up, put them in the search, nab them, and I'm getting the new card. Obviously, pretty much most of, if you want to do the transferred cards yourself, and you want to kind of know who's transferred, Footbin has a great bit for the transfers. You can just put the whole full players guide. You can either do it the transferred way of the drop down, or you do it when you have all the players sheet, the full player sheet with all their stats, prices accordingly, and you can just set the filter to either transferred or whatever, and it just works a treat. I rely on it quite heavily just to give me an idea of who's, and it helps for like the League SBC cards. Like if there's any particular ones that may prove useful for a League SBC, I will go out there, try and nab them and say, right, if I can get them into the club, I will just be like, right, I want to get them now in case they go up for their respective League SBC team. But of course, you've got to be wary if you've got the base, the original card that was kicking about of the original club, and you want to try to see, right, if they were in a League SBC club, you say to yourself, keep it, because I've done this plan with Koke, for example. Koke, Machilicic, a few others basically. Simon Murray is another example, and I've not done like Wanderson, for example, of Dynamo Moscow. That's one probably card I've maybe slipped up on, but no big deal. I can kind of work around it. But this is what I'm finding with a lot of these teams, is that there's so many players, just because of the transfer cards. If you're pushing for like road to top 100, it just gives you so many more cards to just say, right, this is what I need to go and buy, and it's mental. Like especially across the leagues, like when you realise how many different players are kicking, like new transfers are kicking out. Like you've got, as I say, Pogba's in Turkey, as in Paul Pogba's brother. Van Persie's back in Holland, Markovic is at Anderlecht, Fischer's at Ajax, Menez is in Mexico, Etu's at another team in Turkey. You just find, and like Rafa Soares, he's now playing a team in Portugal, Fortaleza or something, who have been suddenly in a bit of form, which is quite impressive. But you find this is what happens though. But honestly, there are so many good cracking deals out there, and honestly, if you're very patient, guys, the coins can be made out of the transfers, and we're finding ourselves as a result. We're getting plenty of good deals and plenty more players into the club as a result. Let me know in the comments below if you've had any success with the transfer cards. Smash the like as always, sub to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you all later.